Peace, peace. Assalamu alaikum. Shalom. Hotep. Peace to the family. Salam Allah to the supreme beings on the face of the planet Earth. To the nation of gods and earths. Peace. I'm your brother in the struggle, Brother Minister Ali. And just got back from Philly. And I want to give a shout out to Redden Terminal. They got some good food down there. You know what I mean? A little too crowded, but they got some delicious food down there. I don't care if you want some vegan, some African food, some soul food, smoothies, whatever. Raw, they got it all down there. You know what I mean? Fattening foods, pastries, whatever. You know what I mean? I took it, brought some stuff back. My intention was to get a little quick snack, you know what I mean? Because I ain't eat no breakfast or nothing like that there. And I wound up just getting some stuff for dinner. I just was just ripping and running around the city. You know what I mean? Shout out to my beloved Aunt Brenda. I wanted to take and shoot down and check on her. I couldn't reach her, so I just left a message on the phone. But I extend my love and my greetings and much respect to Auntie. And family, this is part 7 of the Annunaki Decoded. Thank you for all the emails and support, the questions, comments, suggestions. Shout out to the God Shabazz. You know, he wanted me to touch on some more about the angels. I already did that years ago, but I'm gonna touch on that again, inshallah. Sakin, if it's the will of the God in person. And today in part 7, I want y'all to one of the things I used to always love doing. If you ever, I don't know if you ever read the World Almanac. You know this. I just now paid for the ebook by beloved scholar Ivan Van Sertimer, and I put it on my. I used it like a debit card or something, credit card, whatever, and downloaded it on my phone. And some people younger people love that technology, but I'm old school. I like physical, actual books. I got books over there. I got books on the closet. I got books in that room. I got books over there. Books here. I mean, I like that hands on. I'm old. My brain is like when I put it on the phone, I literally forgot that it was on the phone, first of all. I mean, you know, I like marking my books up. Certain things catch your attention. The message told us anything that holds your attention is for the tracking of wisdom. I mean, you know, so it's like I like to piece of stuff apart, and I mean, and I need that mechanical mental thing. I mean, you know, it's like it's too abstract with the ebooks. I mean, so much so that I'm going to make the 2023 for this summer. We got the self-savers letters out. We got the NOI report out. We got the physical books, hardback and paperback, and we're gonna have the ebooks. I really just had a bunch of ebooks because it was easier. But brothers in the belly of the beast really like the physical book, so we're gonna make sure we reach the brothers and sisters in the belly of the beast, inshallah, Sakin. Know what I mean? So we got a lot of things in motion. Shout out to the God Born Unique over Camden, New Jersey, Trenton, New Jersey. They just got the center over there, so we're gonna be building over Jersey. Shout out to the projects out Westchester. We just sparked so many little young brothers. Now I mean, these brothers are sharp. Y'all ready to see some heat. Y'all ready to see y'all heard me teaching this scholar. Y'all ready to hear the youth start. Now I mean, what they was learning over the years. Now I mean, they great. We great. Let the not the dolls. We great. Let the gods out. Now I mean, let the gods go ahead and spark this. I can fall back. Now I mean, you know, much respect to Billy Carson. Now I mean, a lot of people think that I don't like him and nothing like that. Love the bro. He's highly intelligent. And I mean, I learn a lot from the bro. I don't know about y'all, but like anything, you don't agree 100% with everything somebody say. Now I mean, but this afternoon when I was in Philly, he was building live And his subject matters was straight raw. This is his thing, not me. Y'all know me with the black guy. His thing was, we are the gods. Recommend you go on his channel, check that video out. We are the gods. I mean, I was like, yeah, that's what I'm. Now we talking. Know what I mean? So everything mathematically comes to pass in due time and due season. You know what I mean? And the day in part 7 of this Anunnaki, my thing is like, I ain't talking about the Anunnaki. I don't care what it is. There's nothing spooky under the sun, in the sun, beyond the sun, in the universe, before the universe, after. There's nothing spooky, family, period. What's spooky is our ideas, our misconceptions, our misinterpretations. Now, I mean, you know, it's like we got to break the mental chains around our brains. Now, I mean, and let the metamorphical chains take place so that we can know God, see God, be God. And, you know, it's coming, it's happening fast. I mean, all praise is due to Allah for the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. I mean, it's people waking up. Of course, you got President Trump. I mean, you know, he's going through his stuff right now. It's the funny. I'm gonna tell you something real funny. I get up usually early. I was up like 3 o'clock in the morning. I get up 3 o'clock in the morning. I got all these buzzes because I personally subscribe to Trump's Twitter account. Now, I mean, you know, I don't look at Trump as any more than Biden. The devil's the devil, guys. It's just some devils is like big devils. Then you got the medium-sized devil. Then you got the little devils. Lesser two evils. They all devils to me. You know what I mean? The black devils, I wouldn't care. You know, so I'm not one for politics. You know what I mean? You know, one for rulership. They brainwash the masses to make us think that we need to be team players, that we need to be under the dead dollar in the economic system, and you need to get an education so that you can function in their world. I mean, but what you need is to know yourself and do for yourself, understand yourself, apply yourself. Now, I mean, and that's how you break through all the technology of these jokers. Now, I mean, but it was funny that Trump early in the morning and his son, these jokers, and I'm looking at the numbers, they had like 3.4 million people on the feed talking about the attorney general basically is going to get locked up for charging Trump, and he thinking about not charging him. And it was like, yo, the propaganda of these 10% rich slave makers, they are, listen, say what you want. You have a lot of organizations in the United States, the 10%, those that get that moolah. Them jokers, they organize. Now, I mean, I don't care if it's the NRA, the National Rifle Association, the Asian community, the Jewish community, the gay transgender community, the Republicans, whatever you want. You can't take away the fact that they know how to like mobilize the troops, put that agenda together, unite. Now, keep in mind, they don't even like each other, some of them. But when it comes to them pushing that program, they know how to push that program. Now look at us. We want to, Farrakhan, Salas, I don't like Salas. I don't like Farrakhan. Well, he teaches Scientology, but I don't like the 5%ers. I don't like the Afro Center. I don't like this one. I don't like. It's like, listen, we gotta unite. Now, I mean, we gotta get organized. We need what's called operational unity. You don't have to become FOI, and you ain't gotta believe as I believe. I mean, but you have to believe in freedom, justice, and equality. You gotta be for the people. I mean, I wouldn't care if you Christian, Muslim, whatever. I mean, you black, white, candy stripe. I mean, but if you're about the struggle, we comrades. I mean, it's like we'll work it all out. I mean, when we meet at the crossroads. But right now, there's a big thing going on. So today, family, in part 7 on this Anunnaki, I would like to build with y'all on, I'm not going to get technical, but basically you can find it online. You could go on Wikipedia, for example. If those of you that got the manual books, look in your World Almanac or whatever, and just look at colonization. Now, I mean, you had these different European empires, if you will. All right. Now, imagine going back 100, 1,000, 4,000 years ago, and you have these different empires coming up. Now, I mean, like say the Greeks, the Romans, the British, the Portuguese, the French, the Germans, Spain, what have you. Now, I mean, and they're literally carving up the planet Earth. They like, we want to colonize Africa. Now, the people of Africa are, for the most part, now keep in mind, black people enslaved black people. Chinese people enslaved Chinese people. Indian people enslaved Indian people. Arab people enslaved Arab people. But don't get it twisted. That's a trick of the devil. When you hear them talking about Africans enslaving Africans, they're not talking about chattel slavery. Chattel slavery is uniquely a European construct. What we mean by that is this. When you read about the slave Joseph in the Bible, for example, he's a slave in Egypt, but this slave gets out of jail and becomes the vice president of the country. The slave becomes the right-hand man of Pharaoh himself. All right. Pharaoh give him that type of power and political authority and economic prominence. He's feeding the master. He's feeding his brothers and sisters in another country, and he's an ex-con. So their slavery was like Rome. Everybody was a slave. They was like, we don't put you in slavery because you're black. We put you in slavery because we need workers. I mean, you could be a white man, blonde hair, blue eyes. You in slavery to a black man, a black Roman. I mean, so slavery had different connotations all over the planet Earth. But what happened in the United States of America was they robbed us of us. Much respect to the Jewish Holocaust. I mean, I'm not talking about the numbers, and I'm not cherry picking. Let's go with what they say. They say that Hitler killed, say, 6 million of them. We like, damn, that's bad. I mean, Hitler shouldn't have did that. Hitler, I mean, that was some cold stuff right there. However, why ain't the world talking about what the Americans did to the Native American Indians and left them with like 2 million people left alive? What did they do to the buffaloes? We just find buffaloes like here and there, maybe on the old nickel or something like that there. But the worst Holocaust was the Black Holocaust. We're still in our Holocaust. We can't count the numbers that they killed with us. They killed us 500 years ago, and they killing us to this day. You cannot compare our slavery, suffering, and death, them robbing us of the knowledge of self. The Jews in Germany, the Ashkenazi Jews or whatever, they still knew what their flag was. The 6-pointed Mogen David, star Dawood, the black man, but we ain't gonna get into the black Jews. But let's stick with the white Jews. The white Jews still knew their language. They still knew Yahweh, their customs and culture. They still knew not to eat pork. They still understood about the kosher foods. Like the Muslim slaves understood halal foods and things of that nature there. The Indian slaves still understood Krishna. They still had Indian names. They still spoke that native tongue. When it came to black people in America, we were speaking English. Puerto Ricans speaking Spanish. They robbed us of, you talk to a Taino Indian from Boricua, they robbed us so much of us. We don't look at ourselves as African, Indian, Spaniards. We look at ourselves as Spaniards. We put white first. Not all of them. The conscious ones, no. Fat Joe and all of them, shout out. They know. But it's the same thing with the so-called African Americans. They put America first. They don't look at themselves as black or Asiatics or Kibulan or African or what Kemites, whatever language you want to use, depending on the period you're talking about. But at the end of the day, some aliens came from another planet. These aliens were not from a distant star system. They came from different parts of Europe. And these aliens, they came amongst us with some high technology, gunpowder, Hennessy. I'm saying Hennessy. You could just say whiskey, rum, gin, wine, liquor. I mean, they came with some liquor. They came with some guns, and they had the compass. They could navigate on their ships. Now they could easily read the stars. They could find their way back from where they went to, and they could find their way to where they're trying to get to. And once they had that mechanism, those three types of machineries in place, it was like the crack era for human slavery. It was everybody had caps. Everybody had blacks. Now, I mean, everybody on the auction block, the children, the women, the elders, they coming up, they ran up in all over Africa, especially West Africa, mainly West Africa, because they knew if they get up in the interior of Africa, they might not make it back up out of there. You know what I mean? But those that was on that, that's how they did it. You know what I mean? Those that was on the eastern part, they came on that side. They went across they dealt with the Indian Ocean and the Red Sea and all that kind of stuff like that there. You know what I mean? The British came up in India and they was like rape, rob, and murder in India. Now, I mean, when the Portuguese came over, when the Dutch and the Belgians and the Europeans from whatever came into these nations, whether it was the Arabs, the Romans came over in Arabia, rape, robbed, and murdered everything. I mean, they came up in China, rape, robbed the Silk Roads, rape, robbed, murdered everything. Gangsters. I mean, you know, they came to the islands, rape, robbed, murdered everything. Now, I mean, they went all the way out to Australia, rape, robbed, and murdered us. Britain's still out there right to this day. They said the British Crown never said, means the British, the UK had so many gangsters or aliens on foreign shores, rape, robbing, and murder and everything. They like these corporations, they had black African children. They was like, if y'all don't take and get the rubber out these trees for our tires, they cut our babies' hands off. That's what type of slavery we're talking about from these European powers. Now, I mean, in America, it was just so like the founding fathers, George Washington, they all had that thing, rape, robbery, and murder. Now, I mean, you know, so this is the cold reality that all you Anunnaki enthusiasts consciously, intentionally ignore. Y'all don't want to talk about the race issue because y'all are subconsciously prejudiced and still racist to this very day. Because of institutionalized racism, you see all these white folks, they can digest something like, oh, some aliens came from a 12th planet. This is how the niggers, pardon me, the Africans are able to have an advanced civilization. Oh, some aliens came to Mexico, to South America, to Central America. Those giant African head statues we see, those black gods, we're going to recognize them, but we're going to really push that to the side. We're saying that the aliens built the sun temples and gave them culture and taught them agriculture, how to make corn and mathematics, how to use herbalism and graft fruits and vegetables and graft animals. All of these things had to be some alien technology because every white person on earth knows that black, brown, yellow, red people are not smart and did not have the capacity, to do these things. That's basically in a nutshell what they really are saying and doing. And of course you have blacks that jump on the bandwagon and rubber stamp it and polish it up, and they support that mystery God. But this is the reality, family. The reality is the aliens did not come from another planet. The aliens came from another culture. The people of ancient Sumer, Babylonia, Mesopotamia. The people living around the Euphrates and Tigris rivers. The people living along the Nile River, 4,690 miles long, 1 miles wide. The people living around the Mississippi River. Wherever river cultures you find on the face of this planet where it's warm and the land is fertilely rich, black folks, brown folks, yellow folks, red folks built high-tech civilizations around. These black people were the gods. We let the brown civilizations take over eventually. The brown folks were the gods. Ancient China were the gods. The ancient Indians were the gods. Now today, the white folks are the gods. I know. You're like, white man the devil. No, the white man's the devil by nature. White folks live as gods in 2023. Black people are gods by nature. Black people are living as devils in 2023. Think that over for a moment. Now, I mean, the Anunnaki, I would say the Anunnaku, Anu, the black gods, the Naki, the black goddess, the black folks, the black family. They were not spooky people. They were just as human as we are today. Now, that DNA produces 16 different shades of colors, 4 shades of black, 4 shades of brown, 4 shades of yellow, 4 shades of red. We produce the albino. We produce the white. Everyone and everything came out of some black woman and some black man in antiquity. That's just the natural, logical, empirical reality. All of the alien spooky stuff you hear everybody talking about. It might, see, technology is moving so fast. I want you UFO enthusiasts to understand this. Technology is moving so fast. You will be proven as an extreme liar within the next 100 years. 100 years from now, human beings will be all over in outer space. And they're going to be like, oh, back then they were ignorant than a mug. But in this day and time, people really believe this. Like say you was to go back 2, 3, 4,000 years. Imagine hearing these people like, oh, the god Thor, he sent the thunderbolt. He has the hammer, and Zeus, he's, and Venus and Apollo. People really believe in these gods on this mountain. They really thought that the gods came from the mountains and did this. They really believed that. Know what I mean? But when they was teaching about Zeus and all that, you had other black people that were conscious, and they was like, "Y'all crazy? Them corny mythical gods don't exist in reality." But you had millions of people that really, truly, they worshipped at their altars. They brought sacrifices to these jokers. They sacrificed their own babies, threw them in hot lava, thinking that Moloch and all these other gods were real gods. That's just an ancient reality. The human brain, when it comes to fantasy, there is no limits. You can't put a limit to imagination. Now, the law of polarity, and listen to what I'm saying. All of the spooky stuff you hear about the Emerald Tablets is nothing but the Kabbalion. I don't even, I had a Kabbalion down here. I think it's upstairs somewhere. Yeah, I think I got my Kabbalion upstairs somewhere. But that's all. In fact, I got the Kabbalion right here. All right, now, all that Atlantean stuff come from Tahuti. They talk about Thoth. His real name was Tahuti. I mean, Tahuti was a human black man. Since he was a black man, he had knowledge of self. He taught knowledge of self. He was a black god. Messenger Elijah Muhammad teaches us, quote, every time you look at the black man, you are looking at God. Let's go backwards in time for a moment. Do you find any bird that can outthink the human being? Do you find any lion or tiger or bear or snake that can outthink the human being? Emphatically no. What about if you dove in the ocean and looked around at the whales and the sharks and the lobsters and the crabs? Do you find any marine life superior than the human being? No. What about if you study the moon 240,000 miles away from the planet Earth? If you study Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Plutone, or Pluto, the broken up all the planets out there, look at all the asteroid belts out there. Do you see any civilization out there? I ain't talking about belief. Do you know? Do you see? Keep in mind, people's telling you about this 12th planet. The closest star to this planet that white folks can see, Alpha Centauri. I mean, it's like, if you understood the math, you would be like, the 12th planet would be next door. Orbiting this, like, they would be like, NASA would tell you, like, with all due respect, we know it's a lot of pseudoscience out there. It's a lot of ignorance. But if there was a 12th planet that close to this planet, we would know what it was made of. We would be able to study the atmosphere of it. We would be able to extract the weight of it, the circumference, the diameter. We would tell you the radius of it. I mean, and we can even let you know how fast it's spinning on its axis. That's elementary to those that are astronomers or those that know mathematics. Now, I mean, you know, so that thing is like, we have technology looking at stars. This is white folks, the white gods. I mean, NASA are gods. Their things like, we're not ignorant about the Earth's solar system. Of course, we're constantly learning. Of course, new technology make things even clearer, but it's absolutely nothing spooky. But it's like people fill the gaps with fantasies, and that's the spooky stuff. But I ain't even gonna go into this whole book. But this is the book is written as 3 initiates, but it's nothing but plagiarized ancient Kemetic Black Egyptian mystery systems. Everybody want to bite Africa. You know how this thing go. I mean, everybody want to steal from the gods and goddesses. Now, I mean, these gods and goddesses were 100% human beings. Now, there's another problem we have. A lot of our conscious brothers and sisters try to make the gods and goddesses holier than thou. Like, oh, before white people, we were the perfect civilization, had peace. We sat around the campfires and sang Kumbaya and I love you, brother. I love you, sister. That extreme is not true. That's spooky too. Now, it's not as spooky as saying that the civilizations and the pyramid builders came from some Jews that was enslaved in Egypt building pyramids, or some aliens came down from a 12th planet and taught people technology and all this other stuff. Now, I mean, it's like, whew, the human brain is something. But keep in mind, the human brain produced Avatar, the movie. It produced Spider-Man, King Kong climbing up the Empire State Building, holding a white woman in his hand, the black man. I mean, so we see human beings that could produce like Frankensteins and Ant-Man and Aquaman coming out of the waters, and V and E.T. and Space Invaders and Star Trek, and it's like when you look at the fantasy, it's like there's a cohesion to all the spooky stuff they talk, because they're basing it on real facts. They just putting it out as fantasy, and it's easier, and it's really more fun to play with imagination, and that's fine. But when it comes to dealing with the science, the mathematics, the data, we can't let the unknown become the known. We can't allow our imagination to make us become self-deluded. Now, I mean, we have to deal with reality. I mean, and it's just simply, if we took all of the things we know as human beings and compared to that which we don't know, we don't really know much at all. Know what I mean? Now, that being said, subconsciously, we don't know what we don't know. You see? Subconsciously, we know everything. It's nothing spooky about it at all, family. Now, I mean, this whole Anunnaki thing is nothing but talking about human beings, specifically black human beings, living around two big, beautiful rivers, the Euphrates and the Tigris. And because these people was able to live in a rich, warm climate, they had time to develop culture and agriculture, clothing, medicines, tools, weapons, sciences, theologies, cosmologies, astronomy, all of the sciences of life. They experimented with that. That's what human beings do all over the planet. That's what white people do right to this very day. Now, I mean, that's just intuitive, that's instinctive in every life form. Now, I mean, you don't have to come from another planet and teach a spider how to spin a perfect web. You come down, look at the beauty of the spider web. Look how symmetrical. It's so mathematical. The mathematics is exactly, look at this web is exactly aligned to this one. There had to be some alien ants that came down and taught the spiders how to spin the web. Look at the majestic beauty of the honeycomb. The African bees could not have developed this honeycomb. It had to be some Santa Claus elves that came to Earth trillions of years ago to teach the bees how to make this perfect honeycomb. Notice how they store that larva in there and protect the queen, and the soldiers protect the it's like, come on. You could do that with the Easter bunny. You could do that with the Tooth Fairy. I mean, that don't make it so. I mean, and it's like, I'm going to keep hitting y'all in the head with this reality. I mean, I'm not going to let y'all get spooked out. You know what I mean? Y'all, especially with this social media. Social media allow you to go all out in the cosmos somewhere. Like, yo, homie, come on back down to Earth. Now, I mean, let's deal with the here now. I mean, we're not, there is no such thing as a human being physically dying and going anywhere. I mean, your bones are stone, your flesh is vegetation, your blood is water. The message said, how to live. You come out of the earth and you're going to go back into the earth. Dust to dust. That's just, it's a beautiful natural cycle that Mother Nature has there. I mean, but she don't take and bring the physical dead back. I mean, you may believe that. Now, I mean, you'd be like, well, how can the gods do that? The gods do that easily. Now, I mean, you can do that. How long did it take you? Depends on you. I doubt if it take over a second. With your mind, you could go to Pluto and come right back in less than 1 second. Boom, just a thought. Pluto is just a thought away. You can see your ancestors that's physically dead right now. You could talk to your dead great-grandmother, your mom, dad, whoever in the family member. Their DNA is encoded in you. Be like, love you, Mom. Mom just said, love you, son. My mom is physically dead. My mother ain't never physically coming back. I mean, but she never can die because that's a European construct. So when we say that she's dead, what we mean is she transformed. So the memory of her, the DNA of her, the essence of her is still here. The legacy of her is here. The teachings of Buddha and Krishna and Muhammad and Isa, whatever, the teachings of the Most High Muhammad is still here. I mean, let's look at this for a second, fam. The messenger's alive here. He's not physically inside here, like, you know what I mean? His name, the gods of ancient Kemet, Black Egypt, they write the cartouche, they write the pharaoh, the gods and goddess names in the cipher. The messenger name is written on his book. 90 degrees, 90 degrees, 90 degrees, 90 degrees, 90, 90, 90, 90, 360 degrees. He's still alive. The fall of America, the truth never dies. The mathematics is still with us, you see? But it's not that he's going to physically come off the mother plane and come down and come into the temples or the masjids or the mosques or the universities or come to your block and be like, I am Elijah Muhammad, the preacher of freedom, justice, and equality. 1975, I physically haven't seen him. You physically ain't seen him. I know you believe you did. I know, I get it. I get it. But no one can show and prove it. You can show and tell it all day. You know what I mean? But the reality is the messenger's teachings are alive. It's the same thing with the Anunnaki. The same thing of ancient Sumer and Mesopotamia and Ur and Akkadians, our ancestors all over the planet Earth, family. They live through the culture. They live through our DNA. They live through the stone recordings. They live through the beauty of Mother Nature. They live through the reality of God. The struggle continues. Remember, only the messenger's message will guide you through this age of mess. Peace.